Do you guys know a site called BME?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple people, maybe it was just me. A few years ago, they had an April Fool's prank on the site which featured two identical twin brothers. One of them amputated off his arm and had it grafted onto his brother's chest plate. And the other one had his ring finger removed and added onto his other brother's ring finger. So one had an elongated finger and one ended up with 3 arms. Wow. This was an April Fool's prank, but I thought it was real, and that was my introduction into the whole realm of that kind of elective surgery. And it didn't scare me as much as a love letter accompanied it that said you have to be an identical twin to understand why somebody would do this. And it scared me to my core, and my mom said, if you're ever scared of anything, learn about it, because you won't be scared anymore. So I started going on all the sites with Jen. Jennifer and I became obsessed with it, and my fear turned to fascination and turned to admiration. All of a sudden there's this group that was so villainized that wasn't awful at all. It was actually really cool, and I was really into it. Because I had that experience, I thought maybe I could do a film to give other people that experience. Because I started as the, most people do, being like, oh, I don't really know about that. And then afterwards I was like, that's actually really cool. And once my balls drop, I am going to do a suspension.
And have you guys had any elective surgeries or body mods of your own?
Yeah, my penis is 7 sized.
The inverted penis.
No, I only have my ears and I have my navel pierced, and as far as that goes, that just doesn't cut it. I'd like to actually do a course of piercing for real. I have really sensitive skin, and 14 solid gold piercings for each director. Wasn't in the budget this time, but next.
I've read that some members of the press actually thought that Ruby and Beatrice were actually modified in that way, that they actually believed the special effect.
Suckers.
Yeah, that's actually the New York Times.
Really?
Yeah, the New York Times, and then I messaged Todd Masters with the phenomenal effects, and he was like, oh, okay, good. Don't tell them it was real.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was important that we didn't have any CGI in the film, and everything you see is 100% practical. And it's not like a film like, I don't know, Evil Dead that says it's 100% practical effects, and then it's like, oh no, it's not. Yeah. This is 100% practical, and if it's not a practical effect, it's actually a member of the body mod community.
Cool.
Katie, can you speak a little bit about Mary's relationship with Billy? I thought it was a very unusual relationship for her to be so interested in a guy who's basically a scumbag. So, you want to talk about it?
I don't think she was interested in him at all. I think he was important to her and how she got into the world that she got into. I think the entire time she thinks he's a complete douchebag. And when she walks in on him getting sucked off by some other girl, I don't think she's so much jealous, it's just like fucking annoyed. That was, I think Syl said this to me, that was the one night she was going to go there, Grandma just died, and she was like, fine, I'll go fuck you. And then that happened. And yeah, no, he's just kind of a douchebag through and through. I don't think Mary ever was really all that into him. That's why she rolls her eyes at the end when he's trying to save her and take her away on a road trip. She's like, fuck you. Douche.
I'm guessing with that ending there's going to be no sequel to American Mary.
If there was a sequel, it would be called American Black, because you only see the world through Mary's eyes, and it's like, what happens with the girls with all the plastic surgery? What happens with the doctors? Why were they so fucked up? Dr. Black was the one that fucked off at the very beginning, and then you see him again at the party, and it's like, well, wouldn't it be cool just to go through that and have the exact same timeline, but you get a different level, and then the third one would be with Ruby and Beatrice. But I don't know if it exists. I don't fucking know. I have no clue.
I'm going to ask you a question I get asked a lot, and you can answer in whatever silly way you want to, but what do a couple of nice girls like you do in making horror movies?
Everybody hated this when I said it on set, but I thought it was a romantic comedy.
I did too! I think it's funny and sweet!
I'm not a nice girl.
No, you've been terribly misled.
No, she's not much better than we are. That's why we get along so well.
Well, yeah, you have a history playing villains. talk a little bit about how much more fun it is to play villains than it is to play good girls?
Well, villains.
Well,
There's always a likable side. Everyone always likes me at the end. I don't know, they're more interesting. I mean, to play the sweet, simpering good girl next door is fucking boring. And vanilla. I don't really seem like much of a vanilla. No, I don't know, it's more interesting, it's more fun, and I think, you know, film is here to reflect humanity back to itself, and when we can do that in a way that shows someone that may do evil things and may not have that many redeeming qualities, I think it's interesting when you still like them at the end, because we're all human at the end of the day. We're not always perfectly golden and sweet. We're not always completely terribly evil. So, I mean, it's just more interesting.
It's difficult to make a movie like this in Canada without drawing comparisons to David Cronenberg, and you even homage Dead Ringers with Mary's red scrubs. So can you talk a little bit about how Canada's master of venereal horror inspired you?
Do you want to take it? No, I'm going to take it.
You always first.
Mine. Well,
You always go first, and then I'm like,
I found out I've never traveled much in my life, and after this movie came out, I traveled a lot, and every time somebody heard I was Canadian, they would say, "You guys are really fucked up, though. There's something really wrong with you guys." And I was like, at first I was like, "Really? Fucked up about us? Where did you get that?" And they'd be like, "Well, Cronenberg and all this shit that you guys do, like, I don't know if it's funny or disturbing. I don't know what to think about it." And I thought about that for a bit, and I was like, you know what, that's actually probably the coolest thing I ever heard about Canada. That we're uniquely really fucked up. And I think Cronenberg has a big merit to that. Like, you could never say that's a horror movie. That has to be like a Cronenberg film. So when we did this, people were like, "Oh, well, are you going to make a horror movie?" And I was like, well, other than the romantic comedy I'm going after, I want to make it an undefinable movie where, yes, horrific things happen in it, but not necessarily typical things that you see. Like, she ends up in a shower, but not in a typical way. It's because her soul's destroyed, not because it's sexy.
there's another shower scene that we cut that'll be shown in my hotel room later.
This is the second.
Remember?
Oh.
Yeah, so I was sad to miss that one, but you know, the best thing about Cronenberg is his films really escape labels, and as you know, you can guess, we're not really into labeling things, and any film we do will have horrific aspects to it. I think Takashi Miike was once asked why he makes horror movies, and he said, "Oh, I don't make horror movies. I make a film, and then it has horrific aspects in it, and then everyone else calls it a horror movie." I think that a real film or any kind of art is interpretive. So some people will watch this and think it's a comedy. Some people will watch this and it's empowering. Some people will watch it and think it's crap, and they'll be totally fucking wrong.
I think Takashi Miike is so prolific, he probably just made 6 features while we were having this conversation. I want to open it up to the audience because it's getting late, and I don't want to you guys miss your opportunity to ask the girls some questions. So does anybody have any questions for any of our esteemed guests? Yes, sir.
Can I take the mic?
Yes,
Jesus, Reese.
I just like to say let's not mention Cronenberg again. And that was beautiful, delicious, and I don't think you should be compared to anybody else. It was amazing. Thanks.
Aw, thank you.
I have a question for the audience. Don Petit, are you here? At the party bus?
Hello.
Where the fuck did you drive from?
Hamilton.
You drove from Hamilton. Who did you bring with you?
Well, most of the people that were coming were all from Hamilton, and when they found out the movie was actually screening there in Hamilton, everyone's kind of at the
They stay.
Are they going to Skype in later?
Yeah, I can see.
We still love the hammer.
I have a present for you.
What?
I have a present for you. Come see me after.
I will.
That sounds dirty. No, it's a normal present. It's a normal present.
That's not a question, that's a statement.
Does anybody else have any questions or mini reviews they would like to ask any of their ladies?
Any concerns?
Yeah, it's you, sir.
It's a beautiful film, but this is your normal voice, but in the movie you have a nasal voice. That's pretty good. How you come up with that voice?
Who are you asking?
The two
The twins?
Ah, the two of us. When we were doing that, we had prosthetics in Masters of Effects, who did the fucking incredible effects in there, they made us filed down teeth. And I found that I couldn't speak in my normal voice anymore because it just changed how my mouth was shaped. And with the German accent, I could speak with that and I couldn't speak normally. And I just, you know, I've always had a bit of a 1-900 voice. And when I became the Berlin Twins, I was like, these girls are fucking rocking it. They're into whatever the fuck they want. And I was like, she's a little bit slutty too. She has kind of like a little sex voice for the character.
What's next?
I saw a question over here earlier. I saw somebody with their hand up.
What are you gonna
Yes,
do
it was
next?
you, sir. Right there.
How did you guys do the full amputee practically with all the bandages and appendages?
Masters of Effects asked me how I wanted to shoot everything, and we didn't have the budget for something like that. And I was like, well, it's going to be really dark, and it's going to be over the shoulder, you're not really going to see what's going on, and I was frustrated. And he's like, how did you storyboard it? I was like, well, in the fantastic mind of me, you had the whole body, and it was standing there, but I don't want to CG, it has to be all done practically, and we couldn't find an amputee that had all his limbs removed because it's a really horrific thing, and it's very upsetting to do, I was told, because I don't have feelings and I don't know if people get upset over things. And so Masters of Effects came in, all giggling, and they're like, we have a present for you. And I was like, what is it? They're like, go upstairs, go upstairs. I was like, okay. And that body was on the desk upstairs. They're like, we got this for you, and it's a full puppet, and we're gonna move it around.
And it was more expensive than our entire budget.
Absolutely.
They gifted it to us, and it cost more than our entire film.
They never admitted how much it cost. And I was like, thank you so much for this. And they're like, thank Todd. And it's like, no, Todd couldn't have done this. Why did he do this? And it's like, well, that's the way you wanted to shoot it, right? And that's just fucking Masters of Effects. They don't work for nothing, but I owe them, I'm working with them for the rest of my life. Everybody on this set, we had 15 days to do it and a very modest budget. And people came on board because they really liked this story. And everybody would work for free or bring things from home, and those guys just fucking killed it. And I think that's why the film is what it is, because you can see how much they gave a shit in every frame. So anytime we needed something, it would just come out of fucking nowhere. Well, their effort, not fucking nowhere, it was just
There is a huge amount of production value, and what did you shoot it on the Arri Alexa?
No,
was it red?
Red 2 Epic.
It looks great. It looks great.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the girls? Yes.
Yeah, you said that Mary didn't have any feelings for Billy, but why did she get so upset when the woman was doing the dirty in the...
Yeah, when he was getting his dick sucked by that whore.
Thank you.
Because her grandmother died, she wanted to think about anything but that, and he was kind of like a dick in a jar, like an emergency, like, oh, I hate myself, I hate my life, I'm gonna fuck that loser I've known forever. And then she goes upstairs, and he's with that whore, and she's so frustrated because she can't get off any way to just distract herself, and then there's a bartender stealing, she's like, oh, okay, let me get him, I'll get him. It's like, no, and then she sees a girl going down, she's like, oh, I know, I'll take care of her. And then when she sees her reflection, she's like, oh, this is fucking stupid, fuck that bitch. The end.
Matt?
Oh, Reese, go right ahead.
Do you think if you had made this movie in America and you had been subjugated to whatever rules you had to oblige by down there, it would have been different? And are you happy that you made it here, and would it have been a different movie? And were you in any way restricted to what you were going to shoot based on whether you were shooting here or there?
There's one for each of you there. So the first question was, would you have made it differently if you were in the United States? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably, but because I am a Vancouver girl that grew up with the Vancouver film industry, and I'm so frustrated that we have to depend on other productions coming there instead of generating our own stuff, I would have never made it there. And I will fight to bring every production I work on up into Canada because I think we're the fucking raddest. Here, I agree with that. And we've had some meetings. Some people have actually liked American Mary, and the first thing we say is, can I shoot my crew and can I shoot in Vancouver? And they're like, are you serious? Why would you want to do that? And it's like, because I want to do that.
Yeah. And so far they've been like, oh, okay, you know, people up there, awesome. I didn't realize people worked up in Vancouver. That's like, yeah, on every fucking X-Men movie.
I guess maybe all of you don't know, but how this movie got made, in fact, actually, and it was in a great debt to, first off, with your parents, right?
We were trying to get this movie made for a long time, and nobody wanted to be the first investors, and my family has never been rich. My mom and dad on my 28th birthday told me that they were remortgaging the house so they could be the first investors, and luckily mom and dad don't lose the house. Thank God for you guys coming out tonight and buying the DVD and Blu-ray on June 18th. Talk about it. My parents are the fucking wonderfulest. The doctor that operates on Jen and me, that's my dad. And the lady that takes the bird at the end, it's my mom, because she hates when I kill animals or put them in anything.
Did they answer all of your questions?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. I see a hand right in the middle, black shirt.
Clearly you're
know where the title actually comes from, especially since we're Canadian, so why American Mary?
Do I want to do, let me see if I
Yeah, let
remember
Jen
your
talk
answer. It's Mary because we wanted a strong female name, and the first time we saw directress Mary Herron, we saw her defending American Psycho and its artistic integrity, and the reason that it was a satire, and I was like, oh my god, this woman's being like put on the fucking cross just to make this fucking satire of a movie. Reading the book, I was like, well, I can see how some people might have been concerned, but I think she did a knock-up job of it. And then, of course, there's Mary, Mother of God, and Mary Magdalene, which, you know, Mary has some other aspects of too. But I find as a Canadian, we're always looking over at America, and that culture just kind of seeps into our culture, whether we want it to or not. And, you know, you can't see the forest from the trees, and I think that Canadians have a bit of a different perspective on looking at America, and to really make it, and especially I've felt it in the film industry, you do have to do some work down south, and you do have to, you know, play with America, because, you know, they have a lot of control, and they do, you know, bring in a lot of money. Also, the pursuit of the American dream, Mary and her own sacrifices of her morals and whatnot to try and get her own American dream was full throughout the film, and we wanted to open the dialogue between cosmetic surgery and body modification. The ideal of beauty in cosmetic surgery is something widely accepted. You look at someone like Ruby, you don't even bat an eye. We said she was our actress friend that came up from LA to do it, and she doesn't actually look like that. And everyone's like, oh wow, well I guess you wrote it specifically for her, but no, it's not true. And body modification is villainized. They say that people that do it are sick and they're fucked up, and it's like, just because they don't fit into what everyone else's ideal of what beautiful is, doesn't mean that, you know, they're sick people.
Oh, so
What did I do? Did you see me just like staring at her, like say everything?
Yes, right.
Did you like it? I was okay, I approve.
Say your pick of the director.
Are there any other questions?
When you're saying on how you have a certain budget for this, during the amputation scene with the arm, would that have to be the same arm from Dead Hooker?
No, that was a surprise arm, but we used the same arm twice. We just put it up and then we put it over there, but we cut so you didn't think, oh, it's just the exact same fucking arm.
And we're like, it looks the same. I'm like, Dad, turn it just a little bit.
That Dead Hooker arm I still have. It's on top of my snake tank. My snake is named Conan O'Brien, and it's fucking mangy.
yeah.
But it's still there. I don't think it's gonna last forever.
Is there something already on the works? Like, do you
Oh
girls
yeah,
already have a
just
project?
before these guys come and kick us off, do you guys want to talk really quickly a little bit about ABCs of Death? I don't know if you guys know, but the girls were chosen to be one of 26 directors to participate in ABCs of Death. It's a really amazing achievement because it's the horror business is generally a big boys club, and it's really amazing to see women infiltrating it. What's going on with this? But yeah, tell us a little bit about your segment if you can.
Technically, I'm not saying anything right now whatsoever. I'm so thrilled to have that opportunity. The year before, when the first movie came out, the tee was open for people to just make something and shoot it. And Jen and I were like, fuck, we're gonna get in this, I'm so excited. And then I saw T is for toilet, and I said, fuck me. There's no way I'm going to make a claymation like that. And so we've been sitting here and plotting, and then a few weeks ago, before they did the announcement, Candy said, "Hey girls, would you be interested? We're doing a sequel. Would you like to be on the roster?" And Jen, what did you write?
Fuck yeah.
I wrote it in like cap locks, all like, "Oh my god, I'm so fucking happy, best day ever." And then I was like, okay, wait, they can still take it away from you, so just try and keep your shit together and say, "Well, thank you very much for this honor. I look forward to this opportunity, and I'll maximize on, the potential for it." And then we jumped around our apartment and absolutely squealed and lost our shit. We don't have a letter yet, and I'm not allowed to say anything, and I've already said too much. And we're bringing the American Mary team back on that. I hear the budget's only $5,000, so everyone's working for free, and we're gonna have like a killer party afterwards to drink away the pain. And there's one other feature that we're working on right now. We're in early prep for it. It's an original monster movie called Bob. The tagline is, "There's a monster inside all of us, and sometimes it gets out." We're 80s brats. I love practical effects. I love a dude in a suit, and I love what Masters Effects did. And I thought, what if we, instead of just using prosthetics for just like shock or whatever, what if it's actually part of the vessel of the storytelling element? And I cannot wait for you guys to see this. When I see that fucking 7-foot thing walk on set, I'm gonna be the biggest fangirl pinching his little monster butt.
Nice.
Did you have some questions you wanted to add in?
No,
Can I say one quick thing?
yeah, sure.
I'm gonna sound like every fucking rock band, but I'm so happy to be back in Toronto. Because you guys, we had our Toronto After Dark. Anyone from Toronto After Dark that was there? Oh, you guys fucking came back. That's awesome. Hey, if there's any blossoming filmmakers, they're submitting. So fucking go for that shit. And I just wanted to thank Cineplex and Raven Banner for including American Mary, and Anchor Bay for being so gracious to us. And the DVD comes out June 18th, and you're all buying it, and there's a theatrical run here, and you're coming every day to watch the movie.
Not gonna do it.
Yeah, especially you, motherfucker.
Not gonna do it.
Yeah, guys, it's the movie is playing all week long here at Yonge Dundas, so please, post it on Facebook, tell your friends, tweet, whatever the hell these kids are doing nowadays. Just
they're on the Tumblr.
Yeah, but we gotta thank Katharine for coming out. Thank you, Jovanka, and thank all of you guys for coming out and supporting me with cinema. Anything else?
Nothing, you covered it all. Well done.
All right. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks for coming out.